Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Slain Hope, and I got another video for y'all. And this video, the title is The Dangers of Empowering Hoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video clip, and then I'm going to come back and give some commentary, and hopefully y'all comment so I could hear y'all feedback.
Men who empower whores are bad for society. If we lived in a society that was working to be better, whores would not be empowered. A whore destroys a nation and its resources. That's what a whore does. A whore is not happy with herself or anybody else. That's why I said a woman with a BBL is autistic. That's why I said that. Whores are not happy with themselves or life. So they do things to destroy the production of life, starting with themselves and their children. They don't care about their children's growth. The man must be established as a villain.
So yeah, I'm going to say this as a disclaimer. The purpose of this video is not to bash women. The purpose of this video is not for me to give you a breakdown of what a hoe is. That's not the purpose of this video. So yeah, this is just mainly me having a conversation to the brothers, right, that engage in some of this kind of behavior. But before I even get into the commentary, you already know, if you click in the link in the description below, you can purchase my book. It's on Amazon, Who Profits When Black Men Gangbang, right? It's just about like some of the things that we fall into, and it's about my life transition, right? There's also a link of a documentary I'm in, We Came to Heal. I think you could get some vital information out of that documentary, because we do need healing in our communities, right? It's very vital. So let's get into it, right? His delivery is a little, you know how his delivery could be, right? But the dangers of empowering hoes, right? It's a very dangerous thing. And one of the main problems, I wouldn't say it's like the women, the promiscuous hoes per se, right? I would say is mainly the men who empower these women, right? They are the main problem in our communities. I'm not even gonna talk about society, because I really care about my community, the group, the subgroup of people that I'm a part of, right? So the men who empower these women, put them in a pedestal, right? Put them out there like a chandelier for everybody to see, and the things that they do for them. That is a detrimental thing in our community, right? So, because at the same time, like, you have men that be saying certain things, right? They say they want a certain kind of woman, but you out here putting this kind of woman that you would not want your daughters to be like her. You would not marry this woman, right? They say it all the time, right? You would not sit there, introduce her to your moms, right? But yet, every time people see you, they see you with her, right? You're doing things, you're going out of your way to do things for her, although you view her or you deem her in a certain light. You're empowering her. You're putting her out there, and other people are paying attention, right? So you're sending a different message than what you're communicating. Another thing that he highlighted is that these people are unhappy, right? One of the laws of the 48 laws of power, law number 10, is avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. And this is not just the hoes, right? This is the men too, right? And I could be part of that too, right? Like going out every night. I got into a certain point in my life where I was outside all the time, and sometimes it's a symptom of something else that's going on within you. A lot of people don't have the time to really pause and really sit back and really think about it and analyze it, because we're like on a hamster wheel, right? Like, for example, I got into this hamster wheel of like just going to work, going out right after work, getting home just to sleep, doing the same thing all over again, right? So sometimes it's a symptom of something else that's going on, and we ignore it. So we try to distract ourselves, right, by just being around people and not really having to think about the stuff. So again, they are unhappy people. They're out every night because of something that is going on in their life, right? So I just gave you an example of me. I'm being transparent. I got caught up in the hamster wheel. And so at some point I have to be like asking myself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I always out? Like, what am I trying to run from? What am I trying to avoid in my life that I got to keep distracting myself with people? So this is part of it, right? There's something going on in the life at the moment, right? That sometimes it makes you unhappy. So you constantly drench yourself. You intoxicate yourself to the point where you just don't have to think about it, and you're constantly outside around people, so you don't have to think about it, because it's a symptom of you being unhappy with yourself, right? Another thing is they drain your resources, right? They drain resources. So you sitting here, it's very rare that you see hoes that kind of like put up, that kind of like, they be like, all right, cool, like I'm putting up some money too. Like we going half and half, or we doing this or that. Don't worry, it's on me, right? It's very rare that you see that. They generally drain you, brother, right? They drain you of your pockets. They drain you of your life force. You know what I'm talking about. They drain you of your life force, right? They drain you of anything, your life force. Anything else that they can drain you of, they'll drain you that, right? A lot of dudes, you done messed up your marriages behind hoes. You done messed up your job behind hoes. You done messed up relationship behind hoes. Like, this is just an example of how they drain, right? Resources. Resources, not just money. Resources, also people, also support systems that you might have had that they ruined for you, right? And again, this is not blaming them. This is for the brothers who put them in a pedestal or spend a lot of their time around them to really ponder and think over, right? So they're draining you of your resources, and then the moment they're like vampires, right? They're vampires. So they're already unhappy. They already feel like they're unlucky. They can't find a good person, you know? So they move around with that energy, and then they drain you of your life force. You ever get up? Like, why you think sometimes after hanging out, after partying with some of these people, you get up and you don't even feel right? You feel drained. Not just because maybe you was drinking all crazy or doing whatever other drugs, but you just feel, your spirit just feels drained, right? They're draining your life force, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, they using your life force and, yeah, lit. Like, you know, they amping themselves up. And sometimes, you know, they're like energy vampires. They need to be around other people, right? But anyway, yeah, the draining of the life force. You know, the next days you don't even really feel good. Sometimes you're wondering why all of a sudden you getting depressed. And then if you having coitus, if you don't know what coitus is, look that up. If you having coitus with them, right? That's even worse. Because now you're intertwining that energy. You get what I'm saying? And then now you're feeling depressed. Now you're feeling down. Now you're feeling sad. Now you're going through some of the symptoms that they might have been going, and you probably wasn't even going through that before, the interaction with them. So this is just something that you have to pay attention to. And if you're going through this, you need to really figure out who in your circle. And sometimes this could be men too, right? Men could be the energy vampires. So you have to pay attention if you're feeling like this. And the last thing I would say is the messaging that we are sending to the community. You got to be mindful of the messaging. On one hand, you're telling women, I want this kind of woman, the woman that's in the house, the woman that is doing this, the woman that cook, clean, XYZ, the good girl. Like, and then again, you sending a different message. They see you in the comment section, right, on Instagram. Some of these chicks be exposing dudes in the DMs, right? So they see you. You hear Lil Baby talk about, like, I pay for it, like, I don't care. Like, you hear a lot of, like, artists talking about the things that they'll do, right? And I think some of us try to emulate that. We try to emulate the artist. We go to the spot, we trick, we waste our resources, right, to look good, but look who we doing it to. Why don't you spend your resources on a woman that'll help you get back on your feet if you needed to? Why don't you spend your resources on a woman that is really there for you? You get what I'm saying? Why won't you spend your resources on a woman that really truly supports you? and really truly has your best interest in mind. Like, why spend your resources and your energy on like the woman that you know is temporary? And although they may be fun for the moment, you know long term it's only gonna be detrimental. So come on, we gotta, brothers. Again, I shouldn't have to say this, but this is more for the brothers than for the sisters. Because they gonna do whatever they're gonna do. But what is the messaging that we are sending when we keep entertaining these women? It's one thing if you did this behind closed doors. I'm not saying do this. It's one thing if you was doing this behind closed doors and nobody really seeing what you're doing. But you're doing this in the open. You outside with the hoes in the open, and the good girls is watching, and they're like, damn, they getting all the attention. And we can't just sit there and say, oh, they just insecure, they got to figure out their own stuff. We just can't always say that. We got to be realistic. If they sitting here doing what we told them we wanted to see, what we told them we was after, and they sitting around here doing that because they want to get picked and they want to get chosen, and they saying, oh, this is what the men are looking for, and then you're turning around and doing other, giving your attention, giving your resources to other, the ones that you claim you didn't want, the ones that you claim is lower than them, lower class than them, then you're sending the wrong messages, brother. And you can't blame them for them being like, you know what, I should have just been doing that. And why continue to invest this much time and resources in a woman that you wouldn't even want your daughter to be like? That's the bigger question. You engaging when you out in the open, giving all your resources and energy to women you wouldn't even want your daughter to be like. But let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section. Stay blessed. Peace.